Many of us are drawn to anime for different reasons. 1 is for the waifus, 2 is for the plot, 3 is for the animation, and 4th, the one that got us hooked in anime, is their powers. Growing up, many of us imitate the ultimate moves of our favorite characters such as Goku's Kamehameha, Naruto's Rasengan, and Ichigo's Getsuga Tensho. To be honest, the list could go on for a very long time, and as we speak, a lot of people are being drawn to anime. There are many moments in anime where both the protagonist and the antagonist show us their ultimate powers, and today we'll be counting down the top 20 moments where characters show us their ultimate powers. Starting off strong, look up in the sky. It's a bird? It's a plane? No, you're wrong. It's Pain, ready to destroy everything in sight.
Shinra Tensei.
This iconic moment was burnt in the memories of those who watched this scene as one of the best displays of ultimate power moves. I mean, being able to destroy a whole village by yourself is something very few characters can achieve, and Pain did it like it was a piece of cake. Hovering over the Hidden Leaf's territory without anyone to stop him in his tracks, Pain successfully brought despair down to the citizens of the Hidden Leaf village that even the Hokage at the time was helpless in front of Pain's absolute power. Tsunade and the other ninjas watched helplessly as Pain decimated their precious village and reduced it to nothing but rubble. Pain's almighty push proved to be a devastating technique, able to wipe out a whole village with ease. To this day, that Shinra Tensei line in the Japanese dub still sends shivers down our spine. Now, before we continue, let me ask your little weeb heart for just a moment of your time to present to you the sponsor of this video, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends is a mobile RPG game that has amazing graphics, has over 750 unique champions to collect with billions of ways to customize them, awesome and scary bosses, and best of all, it's free to play. But that's not all. Do you perhaps know the game Kiss, Marry, Kill? So, who are my picks? First of all, for Kiss, I'd have to choose Madame Ceres. She's an epic champion from the Dark Elves faction, and I think you know why I chose her, right? For Marry, I'd have to pick the legendary champion from the Shadowkin faction, Yumeko. Not only do I want to marry her because she looks like she came straight out of anime, but her skills are no joke. And lastly, the one I would have to kill is the miscreated monster. I mean, does he even want to be here when he's miscreated? Raid is giving out a legendary champion. It's so easy that you just have to log in on 7 different days between now and October the 23rd to get Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. So if this sounds right up your alley, then why not start now using my link in the description or scan my QR code to get insane bonuses. We're talking about an epic champion, Talia from the Sacred Order faction, and other useful things like energy refills, skill tomes, and XP boosters. Once you're in the game and destroying your opponents, make sure you come and find me under the name VinnyTube, and if you're fast enough, why not join my clan? Next on the list is the leader of the Asakusa village, Shinmon Benimaru, against an unfortunate demon. When the White Clads, the main antagonist of the Fire Force series, decided that it was a good idea to mess with Benimaru's turf, they quickly realised how badly they messed up. With Benimaru's abilities and proficiency in combat, he may as well be a one-man army. His control over his powers is on a whole other level. He's honed his skills to near perfection, and in his fight with the demon, the White Clads released in the town of Asakusa, he bared his fangs against them and showed just how powerful he really is. When his first attempt at exorcising the demon using EI Chop, Form 7 Sun Wheel failed, Benimaru decided to borrow Conroe's technique, the Crimson Moon, which ultimately finished the job. Not only did Benimaru erase the demon from existence, but with the firepower Benimaru possesses, he quite literally lit up the night sky in a sinister red colour. The build-up of the story, the choreography of the fight, the sound effects and the visual effects all worked together and created what's possibly one of the best scenes in anime when displaying overwhelming strength. Moving on, we have Orochi Katsumi breaking the sound barrier with his punch to try and defeat Pickle.
刹那ピクルの脳裏をよぎった者はライバル T-Rex の振るう鋼の尾。
In In the battle against Pickle and Gatsumi, we all know Gatsumi lost, but Gatsumi was able to make Pickle recognize him as a strong and worthy opponent. With Gatsumi's new technique, the Mach Punch didn't just send Pickle down to his knees, but he also sent Pickle flying by countering Pickle's assault using his new attack. Quite ironic actually how a small man can produce so much force that it emulates the T-Rex's tail swing. Yep, you heard me, Pickle saw his greatest nemesis during the Jurassic era in Gatsumi. Gatsumi's Mach Punch can travel an astonishing speed of Mach 78, or to be precise, 96,314.4 kilometers per hour. Now, I don't know about you, but a punch at that speed would probably blow your head off. But with a destructive power, his punch doesn't just hurt Pickle, it also destroys Gatsumi's hands and foot. Although Gatsumi's Mach Punch can only be used once as it destroys the user's body, he proved to everyone that was watching that he's a force to be reckoned with. In just a few days, he created a move that for a short while was able to turn the fight in his favor. Coming up next is the Honored One.
Kyoshiki Murasaki.
Without a doubt, Gojo's existence is basically a walking flex, but when he was on the brink of death because of Toji's surprise attack, he quickly demonstrated his superiority unlike anyone else. The only mistake Toji made when he thought he finished the job was that he didn't make sure it was done for good. With that opportunity at hand, Gojo broke his limits and came back stronger than ever. In their rematch, Gojo makes it clear that Toji doesn't stand a chance against him and completely dominates the entirety of their fight and finishes the job by unleashing the Gojo clan's secret technique, the Hollow Purple, ultimately ending Toji's life and blowing a hole right through his body and anything behind Toji. With that, Gojo yet again eliminated another person who could rival his strength in his own verse. It was a quick attack that resulted in Toji's quick death.
いつもの自分を曲げちまった。その時点で負けていた。
Following Gojo, if you like moments where anime characters go into rage mode, then you'll probably like Gon's entry. When Neferpitou failed to keep her promise to revive Kite, it prompted the creation of their greatest enemy yet, Adult Gon. Consumed by rage, Gon made a Nen contract, allowing him to sacrifice all the Nen he'll ever have in his life to kill Neferpitou. The result of Gon's action allowed his body to mature into where he was at his prime, a muscular adult with immense power and Nen aura. In this form, Gon was on the same level as Meruem, the king of the Chimera Ants. The way Gon brutally ended Neferpitou's life using his bare hands was a testament to the word ultimate power itself, and even Neferpitou admitted that his fangs can reach the king. Without a doubt, Gon's rage moment and transformation is a feat that's worthy to be on this list. Next up, if you're a veteran anime watcher, then you probably remember this certain anime called Hajime no Ippo.
高速のシフトウェイト体を振った反動で左右を叩きつける
Because I assure you, if you're a die-hard fan of sports anime like Slam Dunk, Ice Shield 21 and many more, the scene where Ippo unleashes his ultimate move, the Dempsey Roll, for the first time against Ponchai will absolutely give you goosebumps. For starters, Ippo didn't actually know that the movements he created already had a name, and it was the Dempsey Roll. As Ippo told Gamogawa that he would end the match in a KO, he was oozing with confidence that it shocked his coach. It was Ippo's first time using the Dempsey Roll on a moving opponent, but his tenacity, endurance, strength and perseverance made his attempt a success against the Thai boxer Ponchai, who proved to be a difficult opponent for Ippo. Ultimately, in just 2 rounds, Ippo was able to seal the deal and win his comeback match by unleashing his newfound technique, and would win more matches using the Dempsey Roll, making it his signature move. The impact was amazing, and even the animation was so crisp, so that's why it became iconic. Hold your horses, because we have Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann versus Anti-Spiral. Imagine summoning a mech that dwarfs galaxies and operating it. I mean, think about it. The size of the mech is estimated for its height range to be at least 348.48 billion light years to 10.45 trillion light years. Compared to the observable universe, which has a diameter of 93 billion light years, the STTGL is at least 3.7 to 112 times taller than the observable universe. Now, imagine yourself a normal human operating a mech that huge, and that's not all. Their enemy, Anti-Spiral, grew the same size as them and both clashed with huge drills with an estimated size of 100 universes. As they clashed drills, they created a vortex that sucked in the surrounding galaxies, and I'm fairly certain that as the galaxies were pulled into the vortex, not a single one survived the imminent destruction brought upon STGGL and Anti-Spiral. If there was something you could use as a metaphor for the word ultimate, it would be the Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. Coming in strong is the OG, the GOAT, and one of the heavy hitters known in anime, Son Goku unlocking Ultra Instinct. During the Tournament of Power in his fight against the mighty warrior Jiren, Goku was pushed into a tight spot and on the verge of losing. Even when Goku was in Super Saiyan, Blue Jiren easily overpowered him. Now keep in mind that before Ultra Instinct was even a thing, Super Saiyan Blue was Goku's strongest form. This just shows the huge gap between Jiren and Goku. Goku managed to retain Ultra Instinct through his unending will to survive the sheer destructive force of the Spirit Bomb that nearly killed him. It's aesthetically beautiful to watch Goku achieve Ultra Instinct for the first time. The change differs from his previous forms with its distinctive and arresting visual design, which includes silver hair and an aura. This change and the battles that follow are depicted with detailed animation and artistic skill, providing the audience with a visual feast. In this state, Goku is at his peak and displays great feats of strength. Moving on, this is probably one of the goofiest displays of ultimate power in anime. Monkey D. Luffy's Devil Fruit awakening into the Sun God Nika. This shocked a lot of fans because of its cartoony animation. With his newfound ability, Luffy gains godlike abilities by letting him do anything he can imagine. For example, he can affect living beings and inanimate objects and defy the laws of physics, which is an insanely overpowered ability to have. Now that Luffy possesses the Toon Force, he's able to dominate the fight against Kaido. Even though Kaido landed devastating hits, Luffy ended up hitting back stronger as if he didn't even feel them. Without a doubt, Luffy's peak exceeded everyone's expectations. Instead of a badass transformation, he basically turned into a cartoon character, which is actually fitting for him, seeing how Luffy's always been a free-spirited character. We have another one which is one of my favourite scenes in all of anime. All Might uses the United States of Smash to defeat All For One. In a last-ditch effort to finally put an end to All For One's evil ways, All Might, even though he was in a tough spot with his quirk being at its limit, fought with everything he had to defeat his archenemy. Putting everything he had in that one punch really burned that scene in all of our brains. All Might's determination to protect and save others despite his physical limitations adds a profound emotional weight to the move. The phrase United States of Smash itself evokes a sense of grandeur and power, reflecting the larger-than-life nature of the character and his ideals. The animation and artwork for the United States of Smash scene are particularly well executed. The way it's visually depicted with impactful animation, dynamic camera angles and dramatic lighting contributes to its iconic status. In short, the moment was just too perfect with everything that was happening. That scene alone encapsulates the core themes of heroism and sacrifice that My Hero Academia explores.
私はもう出し切ってしまった。
Coming up, we have the moment when Adam uses divine reflection and copies the fist that surpassed time. Adam, the father of humanity, faces off against the strongest god in record of Ragnarok, Zeus. But even the strongest god couldn't do anything against Adam's broken ability, the divine reflection. As a man designed in the image of God, Adam was gifted with the ability to perfectly replicate any move and technique he lays his eyes upon, including the ones used by divine beings. This means for every technique Zeus uses against him, Adam can copy it and fire it back at him. Even his strongest attack, the fist that surpassed time, was used against him. Ultimately, to beat Adam, Zeus used his final form, Adamas, and forced Adam to overheat his divine reflection, making it a battle of endurance. But even after going blind due to his immense will to win for his children, Adam kept fighting and passed away standing. Ultimately, Zeus prevailed, but Adam had earned his begrudging respect. Next is Meliodas using Revenge Counter to defeat Hendrickson. This is perhaps one of the best moments in the Seven Deadly Sins series, where Meliodas is seen fighting what seems to be an impossible battle against a demonized Hendrickson. Meliodas is forced to use the last trick in his sleeve to end his fight swiftly, the Revenge Counter. It works by Meliodas turning off his abilities so that he can take and accumulate damage. After Meliodas has taken enough damage, he charges his blade with power and strikes his enemy with it. This is considered to be Meliodas' ultimate attack, but using Revenge Counter, we see just how tough Meliodas actually is. Even though he took all those attacks head on, we can still see him getting back up and proving why he's the captain of the legendary Seven Deadly Sins. Meliodas' Revenge Counter is a good example of how an ultimate power should be executed. Due to his alignment with his character, the strategic elements it introduces, its visually impressive depiction, emotional intensity, narrative significance, and its connection to the series' themes, it's a move that proves Meliodas' identity as a formidable warrior and a central figure in the story. Moving on, we get to see Natsu use his Seven Dragons Flame Iron Fist to defeat Acnologia. Imbued with the powers of all seven dragon slayers, Natsu channels their magic, their feelings, their hope, and their determination into his fists, finally defeating Acnologia, a cataclysmically powerful dragon slayer that can take the form of a dragon at any time because of his overuse of dragon slayer magic and bathing in the blood of the dragons he's killed. With the combined powers of the seven dragon slayers and with the help of Lucy and other members of the Fairy Tail Guild, they're able to paralyze Acnologia's body, enabling Natsu to land a solid hit infused with everything they got, finally putting an end to Acnologia's reign of terror. What makes this an ultimate display of power is that this perfectly emulates the story of Fairy Tail, as the series places strong emphasis on the bonds of friendship and camaraderie amongst its characters. When Natsu achieved his victory against a formidable foe through the collective efforts and support of his friends and allies, it reinforced the series' core values and evoked an emotional response from the audience. Burning himself in the list, we have Yamamoto using his Bankai to defeat Yuha. During the 1,000-year Blood War arc, for the first time ever, Yamamoto finally revealed his Bankai to the world and displayed the ultimate power he possesses. Yamamoto's Bankai has 4 forms. The first is Zanka no Tachi, East, which eliminates anything Ryujin Jaka touches from existence. The second form is West, a defensive ability that covers Yamamoto and his blades in flames, which he can choose to be seen or unseen. During activation, the surrounding temperatures exceed 15 million degrees. The next technique is Zanka no Tachi South, a dreadful ability Yamamoto activates by inserting his blade into the ground. This resurrects all the dead people that Ryujin Jaka has killed. However, this ability is meant to destabilize the mental state of Yamamoto's opponents before serving as a prelude for his final ability, Zanka no Tachi North. This ability allows Yamamoto to spread his flames to surrounding areas and to targets he wishes to harm. Anything these flames touch is reduced to ash. Yamamoto's abilities are proof of how he remained the captain of Gotei 13 despite his frail appearance for thousands of years. Undoubtedly, despite his tragic demise, Yamamoto remains as part of the strongest characters in Bleach. The depth of the scene and the visual and sound effects all contributed to creating one of the best scenes in anime history. Punching through, we have Saitama's killer move, Serious Series, Serious Punch versus Boros' Collapsing Star Roaring Cannon.
マジ殴り
Throughout the series, Saitama is established as an overwhelmingly overpowered character who defeats his enemies with a single punch. This creates a stark power disparity between him and most adversaries. Boros, as the leader of the Dark Matter Thieves, is built up as a formidable opponent who can actually challenge Saitama. Boros is depicted as an immensely powerful alien warlord with regenerative abilities, immense strength, and a variety of energy-based attacks. His durability and regenerative powers allow him to withstand Saitama's initial punches, making him one of the few characters capable of surviving a blow from Saitama. The animation quality, attention to detail, and dynamic camera work contribute to the impact of the scene. The animation brings to life the intense battle between two titanic forces. The clashes between their ultimate moves give us a peek at how strong both characters are. But ultimately, Saitama overpowers Boros. Aiming his punch at the sky, Saitama managed to blow away Boros' final attack and split the sea of clouds over a huge distance using just his sheer strength, making it one of the best moments when anime characters unleash their full power.
連続普通のパンチ
With a more recent occurrence now, we have Rimuru using Beelzebub to consume Clayman.
ラプラス君の言う通りだった私は少しやりすぎたようです
Despite being an adorable slime, Rimuru Tempest is a force to be reckoned with, having Gluttonous King Beelzebub as the strongest skill in his arsenal. It allows Rimuru to absorb his targets whole into his body and gain their properties. Next, the skill then analyzes what's been ingested, allowing Rimuru to use another powerful skill, Mimic. With this skill, Rimuru during Walpurgis purged the Demon Lord Clayman for harming his subordinates and friends. Rimuru's skill, Beelzebub, was strong enough to absorb Clayman's ultimate technique, Demon Blaster, like it was nothing. Not only did he absorb his attack, but by using Beelzebub, Rimuru was able to consume Clayman whole, preventing his soul from escaping and putting an end to his wicked ways, showing the other demon lords that Rimuru and his country isn't a person and a place that anyone should underestimate. There's nothing more dangerous than an ability that erases the very soul.
君はいつも正しい
With another fire user, we have Rengoku's 9th form against Akaza. Although this scene in the movie was anime exclusive, and even though Rengoku lost the battle, we've got to admit that the animation and execution of this scene aren't something anyone should ignore. Only the legendary Rengoku family would have the gall to jump straight to a 9th form after learning the 5 established forms of flame breathing. This original form is one of the most powerful attacks in flame breathing's repertoire, with a destructive capacity that's breathtaking to behold. Despite losing, Rengoku poured every ounce of strength he had in this one final attack, displaying the power he has and the tenacity of a dying man with principles to uphold. The animation was pristine, and it's well deserved to be called his ultimate trump card, a truly worthy entry to this list. Fighting his way into the last 3, we have Seo Halyang's 108 Torments of Mankind vs. God.
国式書
Seo Halyang is a character from another underrated anime called God of High School and is a proud member of the Six. He was the 27th leader of the National Homeless Association prior to giving that title to Ymira. He was an advanced weapons expert capable of using 108 national treasures. When the main villain of the story summoned a being wielding a sword and was revered by the enemies as God, Park Mubong was the first to step up and stop the creature's advance. Later on, Seo Halyang stepped in and aided Mubong by using the 108 Torments of Mankind, which consisted of various weapons from swords, bows, and guns. As Seo Halyang constantly dealt damage to God's sword, he finished the job by summoning a creature of his own wearing a mask that bit God's swords and breaking it in the process. Not many characters are capable of challenging a god, but apparently Seo Halyang is a man who bites the sword of God and celebrates his victory, displaying his proficiency in using weapons and strength to overcome extreme adversaries. Next is when Saber Alter uses Excalibur. Saber Alter is a darker and more ruthless version of the character Artoria Pendragon, who we commonly call Saber. Her transformation into Saber Alter signifies a departure from her traditional ideals and a willingness to wield power at any cost. This transformation sets the stage for a more intense and powerful display of her abilities. Excalibur is one of the most iconic and powerful weapons in Arthurian legend and within the Fate series. Its portrayal as a sword of immense and holy power aligns with Saber Alter's darker nature, creating a contrast that makes her use of Excalibur all the more impactful. In Heaven's Feel, Saber Alter's Excalibur is depicted as an even more destructive force than usual, capable of unleashing a massive and devastating attack. This version of Excalibur is often associated with overwhelming power and an aura of darkness fitting Saber Alter's character. It showcases both the character's inner turmoil and a willingness to wield immense power for her goals. And last but not least, we have Arnos using Venus Donoa against Melheis.
来いベヌス殿はお前は言ったな転生後は魔力の1割も使えぬものだと俺とてそうだ
Arnos Voldigode is the reincarnation of the man who was feared as the Demon King of Tyranny 2,000 years ago and is the main protagonist of the anime The Misfit of Demon King Academy. His skill, Venus Donoa, is probably the epitome of ultimate power because the abilities of this sword are just out of this world. Venus Donoa can nullify spells and reduce them to nothing. By destroying the Order of the World, the Abolisher of Reason can slice a target without making contact with it. During the fight with Melheis, Arnos summoned Venus Donoa and quickly showed his opponent what absolute power looks like. Devastated by the fact that none of his techniques could touch Arnos, Melheis couldn't do anything but wait for his end to come. With a sword that annihilates all laws, no one in Arnos' verse could ever hope to compete against him, putting him in a class above everyone else.
言っただろう無駄だとなるほど正気に戻れメルヘイス
And there you have it, the top 20 moments where characters use their ultimate powers. Although there are bound to be some moments that I've missed, let me know what you think in the comment section below. And remember, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Once again, thank you Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring today's video. Use my link in the description or scan the QR code and get started on your Raid journey now. See you in the next one.